All right. Good morning. GM, it's morning somewhere in the world. Thank you all for joining us with Developer DAO to learn how to build with Streamer and the Streamer Network. I like to get a little personal with the people on the team. I like to know who is behind the Streamer Network. So definitely want to start with an introduction of Nico and Matthew, but I'd like to know something about you, about the team, and then if you're up for it, a fun fact about yourself. Anything, could be anything. Go for it.
Okay, hey, hi guys, how are you? Excited to be on this Twitter space. A little bit about myself. Well, I do developer relations for Streamer, and yeah, I've been doing this for around 5 months now. And yeah, it's really cool stuff. We built pretty cool infrastructure for real-time data, and more about that later. But fun fact about myself. I travel a lot, so I'm a digital nomad. I actually just live out of my suitcase, so I think this is quite a fun fact. Over to Matthew.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the traveling thing.
Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's it's a little difficult.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. And how about you, Matthew? Go for it.
Hey, I'm Matt, or Matthew, whatever works. I'm the ecosystem lead at Streamer. It's actually my 5th year in the project. I'm not sure about interesting facts about myself. I think I'm a pretty dry and boring guy, but I think it's interesting that at least I started off as a front-end developer at the project, made my way into this ecosystem role because had like a deep fascination and passion about all things crypto that predated Streamer, and was able to sort of merge those two kind of interests or directions in my career by going into this ecosystem role. And the role is about communicating the tech. The project is very technical, so it's not so easy. It's sometimes even for us to explain what we're building, and that's kind of just learn to appreciate that kind of newer nuance of the gig. And it's about discovering the fit between other protocols and projects in the space with what we're building, which is a lot of fun. And I'm Australian. There's not too many Australians in the crypto space, so maybe that's slightly interesting.
There you have it, guys. He's Matthew on the resume, Matt on the streets. He said he had no fun facts, and he dropped us some good brain stuff right here. Awesome. Glad to meet you guys. So definitely. So, I mean, the first question, obviously, that everybody asks, especially myself when I first saw it, is like, what is Streamer in general? Like, what is it?
Yeah, I can field this one. I have a lot of experience explaining this, so hopefully you can tell me if you get it. So Streamer is a peer-to-peer network for streaming data and real-time messaging. So you can think about it like an IPFS, but for streaming data. And Web3 projects and developers typically see Streamer as this kind of layer 0 middleware. Layer 0 is like this very kind of gray and poorly defined term, but maybe kind of people have an intuition of what it is. It's like this sort of helping protocol that maybe is one piece that helps you achieve like a bigger vision. And so to speak about like a bit more of the nuts and bolts of the network, the data is the data pipelines are formed off-chain, but the identity, the cryptography, the access control, and the incentivization, these are all touch points on-chain. So the end result for developers is serverless infrastructure that's fast, secure, scalable, and decentralized. So yeah, these are the end properties of this technology that we've been building. So far, it's been 5 years of like, heavy research and and development to get to where we are. It's a very technical project, but the end result is quite similar to the Web2 experience, where you're kind of expecting this network to provide a kind of messaging or data pipeline service for your use case.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's pretty technical. Just by talking to you right now on Twitter Spaces, my IQ went up by like 1 point right now, just alone. But so, I mean, just looking around in Streamer, I was just Googling like what you guys were. You guys get compared to like Google Firebase, Matrix, PubNub. Like, is that a fair comparison? If not, like, what's the difference between the two?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty reasonable comparison, and perhaps, yeah, maybe just to start with, like, how are we similar? So PubNub, Firebase, Matrix, a whole bunch of different projects in the space. They all pretty much do real-time messaging or data transport in some way, and the latency is very low for all those technology choices. So yeah, Streamer is very much kind of one-to-one on those properties. But like underneath, under the hood, nothing is the same. So the biggest difference is that we are Web3 native. We're serverless and we are decentralized. So, there's no, we're never asking for your credit card or offering you some payment plans. It's all free to use, and it works on this. The network is sort of powered by this concept of reciprocity. So kind of like the experience that when you're using BitTorrent to download a certain something, it's free, and it's helping. It's powered by the users that are also involved in that. I guess, torrent, or in our case, in the stream. So I'm not deeply familiar with Matrix, but I do believe they have it's great technology and they have a lot of overlapping qualities, but they're not the Web3 native by any means. And I believe you need to run a certain amount of infrastructure to participate in their network, whereas with Streamer, you're kind of running a node by even just visiting a website. So it's very kind of lower level, and ideally kind of unnoticeable to the end user.
Got it. I mean, it sounds like you guys pretty much built this thing from a concept from the ground up, right? So like, I'm sure there's a bunch of technical challenges of just building building a scalable network, especially decentralized. That's on the top. Can you take us through that and like all the issues that came up with it, and how you have addressed these issues?
Yeah, it's been crazy hard. It's a really hard nut. It's a tough nut to crack. I think it's a bit of a dance between having something that's scalable, keeping it fast, and making sure it's decentralized. So I think that's like the blockchain trilemma, right? That you have to you can have two but not three, and we're kind of going for all three, and so it's really hard. But luckily we have a brilliant team that's making great strides. We decentralized the network last year. So we started off with something central in 2017, and we decentralized it last year. And to my knowledge, nobody has actually managed to decentralize their messaging stack. So it's something that we're very proud of. In terms of the technical challenges, off the top of my head, the liveness relationship between publishers and subscribers when it comes to async data retrieval, something that perhaps people maybe not think about. This is a live network, and when people expect to be able to retrieve data when the publishers go offline, that's a tricky problem to solve. Perhaps Nico can speak to that one a little bit. And then there's like the top of mind for me is signing. So everybody's experienced like the MetaMask pop-up that says, "Hey, do you want to sign this cryptic message that you don't understand?" our nodes work in browsers, and even if you visit the streamer.network website, you're running a Streamer Lite node. But if you want to publish data into the network from the browser, because every single data point on the Streamer network is being signed at the source, it means that your browser, your MetaMask will pop up for every single message that needs to be signed. So that's certainly like a really tough problem to solve, and I think there needs to be like a big step change in sort of how we or how the Web3 space approaches signing.
That sounds like it sounds really complicated, but checking out your docs, right? I'm looking at it. There was quite a few ways to approach it, and it looked pretty simple in the JavaScript. I know there's a lot of developers here listening in the space right now, and they'll probably listen to the recording. And anytime I start a new project that's in a new venture, I open up my console, and then it's all black, so I can see my reflection in the mirror, and I see myself in the eyes. It's like, are you really going to spend the time to learn a brand new stack, a new SDK? But it didn't look too bad. Like, what is the process for a brand new developer that listens to the space that says, you know what, this sounds really cool, I want to try out Streamer? Like, what's the best flow? What's the best process?
Maybe I can take that one. So basically, as you said, we have this documentation, and I think the best way to really just get started and just get something very quickly out and up and running is probably the quick start in our documentation. So if you go on docs.streamer.network, you can go to the quick start, which is referenced right on the landing page of the docs, and then you can just kind of scroll through that, and it'll probably take you around 10 to 15 minutes to get it up and running, and then it works. It just works. It's pretty fast, fast as well. So you just kind of install our node package manager. Just install our package manager, which is npm install streamer client, and that's basically it. And then you kind of can just interact with our network already and follow the code examples there and just subscribe to one of our streams. Another way is just to contact me or Matthew. You can either contact me via Telegram or via Twitter. My DMs are always open, and of course you can always join our Discord as well and ask questions there. So there's many ways how you can interact with us. You can also just check out the website and check out our marketplace, because there are some open streams there where you can just kind of view and see some examples, what's already happening and what's already running on the network. So yeah, there's many access points where you can go in and just explore on every technical level you are.
Yeah, definitely. I want to follow up on the marketplace, because I was looking around and I saw Ultrasound Money, and is that where they're getting their source of data for their streams? For those that don't know what Ultrasound Money is, it actually checks the burn rate of ETH depending on the issuance, and how much is being burned on the network usage. And so I follow that. Anytime there is a big drop, like the Blur airdrop a day ago or so, and I was just watching Ultrasound, and then there's also this gas one too for Ethereum gas. So is that where they get the data from, through Streamer primarily, through that marketplace?
Not through the
Okay, go on, Nico.
not through the marketplace, but they publish it to our network for free. So if you want to subscribe to the data via Streamer, you can. So yeah, this is just one example of what is possible. But Matthew, if you want to add something to that.
Well, just what you said. It's if they are also publishing to the Streamer network, then like developers can start to build on data. So we've had this, everybody knows open source development is great, but what's better than open source development built on open source data or open data? So having equal rights to interesting data in the space helps us build better applications. So when data is hoarded, it becomes like this competitive moat for applications and companies, and it becomes an asset for them. Whereas when the data is open, everybody is able to kind of extract value from the data equally. So it's a level playing field, and it's something that we want to explore in later in the year.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. Like there are many different streams that are public and that you can subscribe to. And yeah, I think this Ultra Money stream that you were mentioning, I think it publishes the ETH burn rates every minute. And then you can just, consume that data, show it on your website. And this is, again, just one example. There are many different open streams on the marketplace. So feel free to check it out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's probably the best segue of like the exciting use cases. Like, if I'm a developer, I want to use Streamer. Like, what have you seen that has really like sparked your interest? Like, what has been like, whoa, this is crazy, I didn't know you can do this? Or what has been like really cool use cases for the Streamer app, for the marketplace, for opportunities for developers listening in?
Yeah, in terms of use cases, I think like the space is very, very broad, and it's almost like it's kind of, we can compare ourselves to like a blockchain, right? Like Ethereum, what's its use case? Well, it sort of kind of changes from cycle to cycle. It started off as this ICO platform, and then it went to DeFi, and perhaps it's kind of venturing into a bit more of these decentralized physical infrastructure networks now. There's so much you can do with a generalized protocol like Streamer. So we've seen messaging applications, we've seen it used in oracles, IoT data pipelines, and really any sort of event-driven application, which is basically everything. So for any project that has this desire to implement some kind of real-time state sharing, then Streamer could be used if they want to take advantage of a serverless, decentralized protocol for that piece. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of boring use cases as well, like networking middleware, for example, in the protocol of WebRTC. There's this need for signaling, basically to kind of let nodes or kind of participants know who and where you are. And a lot of the time, even though the WebRTC protocol is quite decentralized by nature, you need to rely on these like centralized signaling servers. With Streamer, you don't need this. You can just use the protocol. There's a whole bunch of interesting ideas around decentralized metrics gathering. I think we'll hear more about this later in the year as well. Web3 gaming, I think we'll see traction on, and of course what started as our bread and butter and what we evolved from is a lot of the data monetization use cases, I think, are starting to become a bit more hot these days. So yeah, a lot of ground there.
Yeah, that's like, it's so innovative, like what can be possible in this world. Someone with a great idea that can just pop out and just blow everybody away. And so like for that one person that does, or that team that does, are there any grants or for DD members or builders or integrations that qualify for like a free data sources or for research or anything like that?
Yeah. So I guess first thing to mention is that like for technically minded people, which I'm sure basically everyone in Developer DAO is, you can run a broker node, stake a few tokens on it, and you can start to earn rewards for your work towards the network. So that's like a really like lightweight way to get involved in the network and earn an upside. We also sponsor hackathons all the time, so that's a really fun way to be social in the Web3 space, and also get rewarded for your great work and ideas. And then, of course, there is a grants program which is incentivizing building on the network. My advice on that front is just to kind of hack around. Like Nico says, it's super easy to get started when you've like seen what's possible. and you've built something, you want to scale it up, that's the perfect opportunity to knock on our door and ask for funding to make your great idea like even better.
Can you cover the staking a little bit more? So I think you can get the token on Uniswap on mainnet, and I think one other location. What is the process to stake it? Do you have to spin up a node, or can you stake it on the streamer website or anything like that? What are the details behind that?
Yeah, so this staking is for Polygon. So I believe that the DEX on Polygon is QuickSwap, or any sort of DEX that is providing the data token. You can get it there, or you can bridge obviously from mainnet, or I think Binance does withdrawals to Polygon as well. And essentially, all you need to do is hold data tokens on an address. So staking, we call it staking. You just need to hold the tokens on the address and keep it there. Some people think staking is just for locking tokens into a contract. There's no lock for these, for the process of running a node and earning rewards for those having those tokens there. And essentially, you just spin up a Docker container that's really lightweight, or install an npm package, and you point it. You just change the configuration file to point it to the address holding those tokens, and that's all you need to do. And then the reward claims will flow to your node or to your address, and once a month we do payouts.
Big question for Nico: is there a video tutorial on that in the docs?
We don't have. I think we don't have a updated YouTube tutorial on this. Maybe an old one that I don't know of, but it's a good idea. We should totally do that.
Sorry to call you out. I'm like, oh, that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of community YouTube docs as well for that as well. But yeah, we should make a video for ourselves.
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot, Nico, but I was interesting. I was like, oh, let me just whip that up real quick and see how I can do that. It would be awesome. But
yeah, fair enough. No, it's great. We'll definitely look into that. Yeah, awesome. And I just want to point out, this has been going on for 5 years, right? So Streamer started in 2017. It's pretty impressive. So there's been a ton of work flown into this project, and it's pretty cool. So I highly recommend to check it out. And yeah, it's a hard. I just want to emphasize, it's such a hard problem to get real-time data through a decentralized infrastructure. I just want to emphasize that, because it's like, now it's here and everything looks so easy, but it's just not. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I definitely want to give you guys kudos on that, because 2017, that's when I came into crypto, and what a golden era of the end of 2017, and 2018, 2019 is what people may not have been around for, but it was crypto winter, right? Like, it was just like, I would say as an investor, a very, very sad moment in time, but for a builder, it was quiet and focus time, right? And so for the people and the teams that were able to budget their way out of that, and to wait to actually deploy and build something in that era, really shows that the team is here to stay. So like, this next bear market, they've already been there and done that. So kudos to the streamer team on that, because I didn't even know you guys were around for 5 years. So I mean, anybody in 5 years in crypto time is like 50 years in like regular corporations. So definitely keep an eye on the streamer. Yeah, I mean, you guys have got my attention on there. That's kind of like, ooh, let me see if I can stake. Big question: are you guys or any representatives going to be at ETH Denver by any chance?
Yes, I will be at ETH Denver. So if you have any questions, or want to partner with us, or if you want to build on us, just approach me. Again, you can just contact me on Telegram. It's Nico Burkhardt, basically my Twitter handle. And yeah, just contact me and we'll meet up. I'm sure like any developer DAO members that are at ETH Denver would see me at some event, I'm sure.
Will you guys have a booth?
I think
or will you have any events or anything?
I think Nico will be wearing the the streamer beanie, so that might be a way for
Oh
you
yeah,
to
yeah.
find.
We have some very cool swag, which is a streamer beanie. So yeah, you can. We only have 200 though, so you kind of have to get your hands on that one quickly. And no, we don't have a booth or anything as of right now, at least. I think we might partner with someone, then we might get a booth. But as of right now, no, we don't have one. We just have me walking around with merch.
Got it. So look out for the guy with the streamer beanie. Say the secret password DD, and you might get a beanie. Who knows?
Yeah, I might just hold back 20 for like developer DAO members. We'll see.
Well, I'm gonna be there in Denver on main event weekend, so like I'm just gonna put it out here in the open. If I don't get one, I'm gonna roast you guys on Twitter. Just
Okay, I'll hold one back for sure.
So anybody in the audience, if we have questions right now, we're saving some time for questions and answers. If you have any ideas that you may want to run through, since we have the guys here from Streamer to answer quick questions, or you want to spark ideas, now would be the time if you raise your hand. If not, we can do a little bit of general chat about what maybe the future of Streamer or any kind of a wish list of things or the roadmap on there, and then we'll see if there's any raised hands as well. So the question would be for Matthew, like what's next for Streamer? What's the next integration or the next plan?
Yeah, I think there's like three big things on the horizon that I'd be happy to speak about. The first, and probably coming first as well, is our messaging app. So we've been building this chat app, which we've decided to call the chat app. It's being released at the maybe I'm not sure if we've announced this yet, but at least we expect it to be released about the end of the month. It showcases serverless Web3 messaging, and there's a lot of messaging apps out there that are, well, I think they're all centralized. Essentially, what's special about the Streamer chat app is that the backend is a peer-to-peer network. So, instead of connecting to a server, you're actually connecting to the other peers in the chat room and forming this WebRTC mesh network and being able to message without any third parties, which is pretty wild when you think about it. Second big thing is the hub. Maybe this will come in around March-ish time, so not too far away. You can think of this as kind of like June Analytics, but for accessing, but for kind of a bit more to the developer scene for accessing real-time streaming data. And so it can be Web3 data, it could be all sorts of different kinds of data. And this is basically a little bit of a pivot from what we've had with the data marketplace. So the data marketplace was very orientated towards pay to access data streams, whereas the hub will be a bit more balanced between open data and pay to access data. And I think it'll be a real step change for this sort of development on open data, as well as being like a open data protocol. Third big thing is our big 1.0 milestone of the project. So yeah, like Nico has mentioned, we've been at it for 5 years and we're not even at 1.0 yet. The 1.0 milestone basically delivers what we've said we will deliver in the white paper, which is a really proud accomplishment for us. The final release includes some heavy upgrades to the network, which the biggest piece is the smart contract incentivization layer to the network, which will provide this decentralized mechanism to be able to attract broker nodes, our kind of worker nodes in the network. It'll allow you to create a bounty contract and incentivize broker nodes to join your stream and to add certain properties to the stream, like security, robustness, privacy, these sorts of properties, which are pretty impressive in its own right. I should stop saying it's impressive because it's I'm totally biased, but I'm very excited for it at least. And yeah, maybe like another side upgrade is that the protocol will be fully binary. So rather than just being JSON, it's JSON at the moment because the protocol has roots in the IoT streaming space. But yeah, at the end of the day, it could be media streaming, for example. That could be the killer use case for Streamer. So there's, it opens up the use case surface area even greater than what it is today. And yeah, all of that's coming later this year.
Man, you guys basically are telling me you guys are building for sure right here. That's a lot of stuff. I mean, the messaging stuff is definitely on point with that. I've messed around with a few messaging apps to see, and I think that's going to be one of the next major steps, is like how to communicate with your community without having to, sign up for something for an email, or, in Discord, they want to stay anonymous and they just want to use the service or the provider, and you can still reach out to them. So I think that's going to be the next form of, forming your community. So I'm really excited for that, especially decentralized messaging system. So I definitely want to check that out. I think, hopefully I don't destroy your name, Hema Kumar. I think you wanted to ask this question, but you might.
Yes. Hi, good evening. Am I audible?
We can hear you.
Hello. Yes. Hi, Matthew. Good evening. This is Heb Kumar from India. Matthew, first of all, I would like to congratulate Steema team and the entire Steema community. We are happy that you are nearing to the milestone. And we would just like to know when actually, like within what span the data milestone would be achieved.
The 1.0 release, do you mean?
Yes, the one which is going to be released, the major milestone, like Streamer 1.0.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we've planned for about the middle of the year, because it is quite technically ambitious. It's always it's always a double-edged sword whether or not to sort of announce when exactly it will land. We expect it to be, around perhaps July or August. But yeah, if it's a little late, it's because it's super challenging. But it could also come early as well. But that's the rough estimate for when we think it'll be ready. And there may be some test nets. Test nets are a fun way to kind of involve the community in making sure that everything is ready to go before the final release. So we did a series of test nets in 2021, I believe. That was a lot of fun. We had over 90,000 nodes participating in this incentivized testnet. So perhaps we do something similar for the release. So that's something to look out for. And yeah, I'm sure we'll make a big song and dance when we're much closer. But yeah, thanks for the question.
One more thing, Matthew, if it's okay, I would just like to ask, have you found any clients from like any other real world clients, like a Bosch, anyone who is using the Streamer technology?
Yeah, so we also, we have like a bit of a hibernating, I would say, enterprise track. So we made a pretty heavy pivot towards attracting more, Web3 native developers, which I'm, quite proud of. And we're here on Developer DAO because we want to invest and really support you guys more than anyone. So the enterprise track, I can't really speak to, huge updates on that front. We do work with clients like you've mentioned, but they often want to, it's often locked down with NDAs and whatnot, and it's not kind of congruent to the kind of project that we want to run, which is always open and freely shares information. So we have been discussing reactivating that enterprise track this year, and I think we do have quite a compelling offering for those bigger players. But yeah, no big announcements on at the moment, I'm afraid.
Okay, and is streamer anyway associated with artificial AI?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yes. Is streamer in any way related to AI, artificial intelligence?
Sorry, I missed that again. Could you? There's a bit of background
Just a
noise.
moment. I'm sorry. Am I audible now? Is it clear?
Yes.
Is streamer in any way related to AI?
Oh, related to AI. Sure. Yeah,
Yes.
I get the question. Well, not directly. I would say that data is related to AI very directly, though, because AI basically is fueled by data, and so this relationship is very important to AI. So I think it's obviously a very hot trend at the moment to connect those two industries together. And we do have one project in our ecosystem. It's kind of gone a little quiet, but I think hopefully it reactivates at some point. And it's he had a very interesting idea in that the AI would be kind of crawling or listening to data on the streamer network. And basically it would have an objective function in mind, and it would be kind of crawling and subscribing to various data feeds on the network and adding or kind of training on this new real-time data set. And let's say it's the price of a token or perhaps the weather the next day. The AI is trying to predict the next value in the future, which nobody can know. But perhaps if it's subscribing to a certain data feed and that data feed is is improving the model, then it certainly like locks onto the signal. And so I think streamer and AI could have like a real synergy in the future, but at the moment it's sort of like a bit on the periphery for us. And hopefully more projects or like Web3 projects, developers perhaps in Developer DAO kind of see that opportunity and start to connect those dots.
Okay, great to know. Thank you so much for the response there, and wish you all the best.
Thanks.
Hema Kumar with the fire questions. Definitely. So if there's no other questions, I'm going to do like about a 30-second round. If not, if you guys have any final words to any developers or listening in a little bit later. Nico or Matt?
Oh, sorry. I thought we were waiting for questions. I just want to, in a nutshell, just explain for anyone that still hasn't quite gotten what Streamer is. So just an example. If you all probably have heard of a lens and their social graph. So for example, if you want to build a decentralized chat app, a decentralized Twitter or something like this, you always have these like buttons under a post, for example, right? So what you could do, for example, you have all these different people looking at one post, and then someone likes this post, and then all these people that I don't know, like follow this post or whatever, or have it in their feed, they would get the update in real time that someone just liked that post. So this is just an example in a nutshell what Streamer could do, for example, just in case anyone still hasn't got it, because again, it's very technical and it can be very complicated.
Yeah, definitely. It took me a little while to digest what it did from the site, but I think that was a pretty good description on there. Just just get like real time updates, right? Like, it's an easy concept,
Exactly.
but very hard to absorb of like what this thing can really do. It just happen on chain, monitoring your DeFi position in real time updates, right? Like that could be something that, hey, you're about to get liquidated, let me know, things like that can be really beneficial for a service and such things like that. I believe that's kind of like
it's a blessing and a curse, because there are endless use cases essentially, and so you kind of say, hey, you can literally like almost do anything, and then people be like, oh cool, and then they're like, oh well, but what can you actually do with it, right? So this is kind of the the problem we have. It's a good problem to have, I guess, but it's yeah, sometimes a bit complicated to explain.
You have the whole universe to yourself, and you don't know where to go to first, right? Like that's the ultimate issue. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we don't have any more questions. I'm pretty sure as people listen to the space a little bit later in the day when they wake up, they might have some more questions. So definitely make sure to DM Nico or Matt. They're on the Twitter right here. If you click on the link, you'll go to their Twitter. But any final closing words? It was nice to meet you guys. I'm very excited to meet you guys at ETH Denver. I'll be there at mainnet. No pressure on the beanie, but if you have one, awesome, because it's going to be cold. But any final words?
No, just yeah, do yourself a favor and check out Streamer. It's it's great.
Wise words.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, again, they have been in the space for 5 years, which is like any trade in the crypto space. They're not a team that's just going to come and disappear. Once they got some tokens sold, like they are building something great. It looks impressive. The things that they've said so far, they've accomplished so far in a decentralized manner. It is something that doesn't come easy, right? Everybody wants speed versus being able to be decentralized, and they went the other way first, which is much harder to do. So definitely, it's worth checking them out. I'm going to be waiting for that video of how to stake your tokens through your wallet for sure. And I mean, yeah, do yourself a favor and check out Streamer. Probably the best catchphrase of this whole space. On that note, yeah, we'll go ahead. Very nice to meet you guys. We're going to go ahead and close out the space. Thank you, Hema Kumar. I'm sorry if I just destroyed your name or not, for the questions. Thank you for the interaction. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks again, guys. Pleasure meeting you guys. I'll be checking out Stream a little bit more. You definitely sparked my interest on there, so I'll be checking it out. And on that note, guys, have a good day.
Thanks.
Okay,
thanks for hosting us.
Cheers. Thanks for the questions, and thanks for everyone to stop by. Take care.
See you guys. Close in space.